Welcome to Summer Masterclass. We're going to go over a couple of things. I want to make sure our audio is good. Can you hear Mrs. Yancey, Mrs. Dawsey? Everybody hear her okay? Like, yeah, sort of, kind of. Yeah, she's test. Hold on. Let me just do it again. Can you do another test? All right, we good?
Testing.
All right, here in just a couple of minutes, we'll go solo on the video. Good to see all of these wonderful faces. Hope you guys are terrorizing the enemy in Jesus' name. Welcome to Summer Masterclass, and want to also just today, Spring Masterclass students, those that started in March. I'm trying to keep my dates together here. Spring Masterclass students, just a couple of things for you guys. So we're going to go through a few things here really quickly. We're going to talk about your assigned team members. We're going to talk about Spring Masterclass students because you guys are like graduating, going, blah, blah, blah. You're in a different place than the Summer Masterclass students. And then we'll get into our live Q&A for both Spring and Summer Masterclass students. It's going to be good. You've been busy, B. You've been doing outlines and editing and critiquing. There's a lot of going on. You got like 85 books that you're helping coach. Feels like you're working on about 85 books. Okay, just a couple really quick things. So you should have by now already received, we've been talking about for a few weeks, that you would be receiving an assigned account manager who functions as your member concierge. So this is important. Your account manager who functions as your member concierge. This is a new thing. We just rolled it out. We've been talking about doing it for months, but we just rolled this out. This is not your writing coach. This is not your editor. This is not your publisher. This is your account manager. This means they are managing your account. So your files and your folders, communication. So when you get to the point where they need your bio, they need pictures, they need content for your website, need you to approve book covers, things of that. They need your domain, yada, yada, all of these types of things. There's that communication. As you're going through phases 1 and 2 and 3, there's 8. As you go through all of those and you're signing off on different documents, like signing off on your editing, signing off on your formatting, signing off on your cover, that's the person that you're interacting with. So you're not interacting with Teresa and I the whole time. Otherwise, guess what? All that we're doing would not exist. So thank you for the account managers. It wouldn't exist if we didn't have them. So you have a dedicated assigned account manager. If for some reason you have not gotten that yet, you have not gotten that email, please, we have both Bianca and Elriza on here today. So we always have an admin on our live classes. Send them a direct message. Don't put it in the chat because it confuses things. Just direct message them, say, hey, I haven't got mine yet. So there's a very specific individual that has been assigned to you as your account manager. And you can say it like, you could be like, I have a member concierge. You could be like that, like you could, because you're all that in a bag of chips. And we really wanted to do that. We really want to do that. We want to make that effort because you're important. The message is important and the process is important. And the details are 1,000. There are 1,000 details in writing and publishing your book. So you've got somebody there to, help you through that process. So if you do not have your assigned account manager, please send a direct message to Elriza or Bianca, or send an email to hello@messengerlife and make sure that you get that set up. And they will be your communication. Again, reiterating, they are not your editor. They are not your writing coach. So if you ask Elriza writing coach questions, she's going to be like, nope, because you have, number 2, this is the second thing, you have an assigned writing coach. So if you're Spring Masterclass, you've been doing this for a while. So you already know who your writing coach is. You've been working with your writing coach, et cetera, et cetera. For those of you, the Summer Masterclass students, you do have an assigned writing coach. Some of you know who it is, some of you don't, but by the end of the business day tomorrow, you'll know. So if you've already been updating uploading and putting content in there, and there might be a little bit of communication. There's probably a good chance that you know who your writing coach is. If you do not know who your writing coach is, which is either going to be Teresa or David, don't freak out. You just need to wait just a little bit longer. But by the end of the business day tomorrow, you'll know who your assigned writing coach. So now you'll have an assigned account manager and you'll have an assigned writing coach. Those of you that you're wondering, well, who's going to be editing my book? You'll have an assigned editor, but you won't have an assigned editor until you get closer to submitting your manuscript. So if you've already submitted your manuscript, Spring Masterclass students, if you've submitted your manuscript, you have an assigned editor, you know who that person is, etc. But we're not going to assign your editor until you get closer to that process. All right. So just recap real quick. Your assigned team members, your assigned account manager, they serve as your member concierge. They are not your editor. They are not your writing coach. You have an assigned writing coach. And if you don't know who that person is, Spring Masterclass, of course you do, because you've been interacting with them for the last 3-4 months. But Summer Masterclass students, you will know by the end of the business day tomorrow. And then your editor will be assigned as you get closer to submitting your manuscript. Okay, so that's assigned teams. Now, really quickly, just Spring students. I mean, I don't know. I don't really want to do a breakdance celebration, but congratulations. I mean, this is officially the last day for some of you guys that are in the Spring Masterclass, and then you get to and then hopefully most of you are ready to be submitting by the 18th. So if you're in that process and you're not ready, you just continue to attend Wednesday and Thursday. You keep coming to the masterclass classes and keep uploading all of your content, and then follow your schedule and your publishing timeline checklist. I'm going to just put this in there. Actually, you know what? I won't, because it'll confuse summer students. But follow the schedule and publishing timeline checklist. If you're a Spring Masterclass student, follow the schedule and publishing timeline checklist. You're not done. You're not ready. Some of you are still on chapter 2 or chapter 3. That's okay. Just keep coming, keep writing, keep moving forward. All right. And then lastly, for Spring Masterclass students, we are planning a spring graduation celebration. We're coming to your house. Hope you're going to have everything. Just kidding. We're going to have an online. Some of you are like, come on, let's do this. Where's Alana? I'm really hoping she's going to throw the party, because she's in Hawaii. Let's have a party at her place. And but the spring graduation celebration, we're just trying to work out a few details, trying to get Brian and Patricia in the same place at this. Just a second. There we go. Okay. It got bumped. Okay. So the graduation celebration, will be emailing that out. That'll be online. It'll probably be like an afternoon, maybe even in the evening. And for Spring Masterclass students, when we do this celebration, we'll have Brian, we'll have Patricia, we'll have the whole gang here. And this will be a time for you to bring some friends and some families, so they can kind of see what you guys have been doing. And it's really going to be, it's going to be a kick in the pants. And we're going to do virtual barbecue. So let's be like, bring your own BYOB, bring your own barbecue. But we're going to have a really good time. So if we were in person, of course, we would not have you bring your own barbecue. I would barbecue on your behalf. But we want to celebrate you, Spring Masterclass students. And even if you're like, oh, I'm just, those guys are already in editing, I'm on chapter 3. Don't do that, right? Comparison is a big fat trap, right? You don't want, that's a black hole. You don't need to do that. You're on the trajectory that the Lord put you on. Stay your course. Just keep moving forward. We've got your hand, right? We're not going anywhere. So just stay the course. All right. So that's it. Spring Masterclass students. I think let's move into live. Is there anything you want to add, say? Yeah, prophetic word or anything?
No, I just want those spring students just to, remember when they come on here on Thursdays, they can still bring their questions.
Yeah, it's
All-
just like
just
it
like
was
always.
before.
The
Yeah,
only thing that they still won't be getting is just the weekly coaching.
the weekly coaching.
That's what ends tomorrow. But any chapters that you submit by tomorrow will be critiqued and reviewed by your coach. So,
And you'll
then-
still get your final review.
yeah. And when you submit your manuscript, it'll go through a final review. We'll make sure it's ready to go to an editor and give you any final suggestions at that point.
And the reason that we do that, which it is different to do weekly critiques and reviews versus waiting until the whole manuscript is done. It's really to save time, to be honest with you. It saves a lot of time. It means that you could actually write your book in 3 to 4 months, having those critiques. And it also saves a lot of time in editing. I won't say names, I won't do any of that kind of stuff. The most recent submission, their editing was scheduled for 6 to 8 weeks, and it was done in, I'm speaking of
a week or two.
Yeah, it was just a couple of weeks. So, which is pretty rare. It's pretty rare. So when we get a manuscript as a publisher, whether it's 45,000 or, or more, it usually does take 6 to 8 weeks. And a lot of times that's because there isn't the weekly critique where you've got somebody that's helping you, giving you feedback. What happens when you get, you upload chapter 1 and 2, and then your writing coach gives you feedback and gives you critique, you're learning and growing as you're going and as you're writing. So you start to do course correction while you're writing. And so it saves time, and it saves you time, saves you money, because the editing is, all in that package. And then it means that you could actually finish the whole thing in a matter of 3 to 4 weeks. And then you can move on to editing. And we do what did I say, 3 or 4 weeks? Yeah, I'm sorry, write the book in 3 to 4 months. That's the phase. Write the book. If you can do 3 or 4 weeks, you're hired. Okay, you're hired. 3 to 4 months, and then editing to take 6 to 8 weeks, and we do block out 6 to 8 weeks for that. But it's just nice because you get to the end, and then it's not like you get your manuscript and it's all written up and you got all these things to change. You get to change and correct while you're in process. So it's pretty cool. All right, let's go to live Q&A. Again, good to see all of you spring students. Good to see all you summer students. I hope it's not too hot where you're at. It's hot where we're at. All right, let's go to live Q&A. Bonnie, go ahead.
Yes, hi. I sent you an email last week, and I don't know if you received it or not. And am I supposed to wait for your email back, or do I go into a folder to look for your response?
What was it in regards to?
Oh, I talked about how I'm doing a I'm doing a Bible study, and I was wondering if I need to turn that into a book. And so I send you 2 sample studies that I've done. And I asked, oh, you haven't received the emails yet then?
Yeah, I don't, I mean, off the top of my head, let me see who your writing coach is. Just a second. Okay. So Teresa is actually your writing coach. So Bonnie, what we're going to do is, let's just let Teresa take a look at that, and then she can respond how she wants to respond.
Okay.
Did you drop those in your folder?
Did you put those in the folder?
No, I sent an email to Messenger Live.
Okay. Yeah. If you could put those in your folder.
Okay.
That way she would get the notification.
Which outline folder, or?
You could put it, for now, you could just go ahead and put it in your homework folder.
Homework folder. Okay. With the questions that I have.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So where the email that I sent went, then you didn't receive the email?
Bonnie, I'm not sure because I'm not sure I'm sure the email came through, but it's probably because the process is for you to drop that content in the folder. So we don't typically just do emails that go to hello to get feedback. It's actually the system and the process is that you use the Google Drive and do the Google folder. So if you send an email to hello and you're looking for some kind of feedback on the writing coach or something. That's not the process and the procedure. So those things need to go inside the folder, because the support team really can't. I mean, the support team's dealing with, anywhere between 50, 80 requests a day. And so they really expect you to make sure you put it into the author folder that's been created for you. So from here,
Okay.
if you have a support need, you need something, then you get with your account manager, the person that's been assigned to you. And then anything that has to do with writing coaching needs to go in your author folder. That's our process as a publisher, because it's a system that we have created that makes it not easy, but a little bit more simple for Teresa and David to deal with as coaches. And so you follow the system, and then you'll get the answers that you need. So from here, if you'll just go into that folder and then put whatever documents or things like that, and then you can put some notation asking some question, because that's where all of the coaching takes place. The coaching takes place inside that author folder and the communication with the documentation.
So how often the writing coach will be checking my folder then? On a weekly basis or every other week?
On a weekly basis.
Usually
On a weekly basis. If you're not putting content in there and you're not uploading outlines and chapters and things like that, then they're not going to check. But if you're following the process and you're following the system that we've given you to do your your annotated outline, your basic outline, and then begin to write the chapters, and you're following that system, they're checking your work and giving you critique.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Lisa, with the wood background.
So I think my computer cut out. When did you say the celebration is?
Oh, we don't have a date yet, because we're waiting to nail a few things down with Brian and Patricia. So, but we're going to. It'll probably end up being in an evening or something like that. That's probably what's going to end up happening, but we don't have a date just yet. It's probably still a few weeks out, but we will definitely let all the Spring Masterclass students know.
Okay, cool. Thank you very much.
You betcha. And just so that you know, Lisa, we also determined that it is at your house, and you'll be providing all the food. Mary, go ahead.
Mine's a process question. Every time I upload to a folder, is someone notified? And then anytime my coach comments, am I notified by email? So I'm a little confused on when, because I did put something up like a week ago, outline or whatever, the basic outline, but I didn't get a response. So how is the process so that I'm in my head? Am I always going to get an email?
Yeah. So let me say this to everybody. Don't be on a daily basis. You have to think like an author that's working with a publisher. You can't think like somebody who every single day is just going to get this correspondence, because in the publishing world, there's actually a lot of crickets. Sometimes you're waiting weeks and weeks before you're hearing back from the publisher. But the way that it is actually designed is that when you upload, so I don't want to get too techie. I don't want to get lost in the weeds with people. But first, there's somebody that owns, so Messenger owns the account, and then they give access to your editor, they give access to your account manager, they give access to you, and they give access to your writing coach. So when you put something in there, a notification, we do get a notification, but you have to understand there's a queue. So as they get to the queue, and you are out of the out of the summer master class, there's a total of 8 with your particular writing coach. So that writing coach is going to go through those as a queue as they come in. So if you upload something, don't expect that day or next day. It might be next week, but eventually you'll start getting notifications, but you're only going to get those notifications and that feedback if the coach actually thinks there's something for you to edit or to change or something like that. But usually what happens is they will, if you remember kind of the video, they'll tag you or they'll reshare it with you to give you the notifications as you're moving forward. Is there anything you want to add, on that as far as notifications and stuff like that.
You wouldn't have gotten any feedback on your basic outline, but your annotated outline has been already reviewed and there's comments in there for you. And I believe you've commented as well. So, so that's how the communication will work, just like what you experienced with your annotated outline.
So Mary, your annotated outline, you've already gotten comments and you've replied back to those?
That's how it works.
Okay, so that's how that works. Okay. Any other questions, Mary, on that?
Is that
Okay. Tiffany, spring masterclass student who's getting very close, probably a little bit excited.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to make sure before I lose Teresa as my fantastic writing coach that
Time out. You're not losing her. Let me reiterate, guys, these are soft deadlines. You're not losing her. You're good. You're in that final.
She's self-editing.
Yeah, you're in the self-editing. You're not losing anything, but go ahead, continue.
I am in the self-editing, but I did write a conclusion. And so I wanted to get her feedback on that before the personal writing coach, because I know she's getting ready to get really busy too. So there is
going to leave you dry.
if you have to look at it, there's a conclusion that I just wanted to get your feedback on. But yes,
anything that that you spring students put in your folders
Anything.
by tomorrow will get reviewed.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's just after that point that you're kind of you won't be getting that coaching.
Yeah, you won't get any of the coaching, the critique, but you still get the final review before it goes to editing.
Okay. And you'll give us feedback on that as well if there's anything we need to correct before sending it to you.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes. That's what the purpose of the final review is, to make sure that you've kind of followed the trajectory that we set you on, and that it's the formatting is good enough to send to an editor, that there's no plagiarism. We'll do an AI check, things like that, just to make sure it's all original.
Goes through all the
content.
checks and balances, blah blah blah.
And then we'll send it over to your editor.
Yeah, and we do that for you. So if you follow the schedule and publishing timeline checklist, so the way it works is you do chapter 1, you get your critique, you do chapter 2, then you do chapter 13, chapter 15, you get all of your critiques, you're finished, then you do your self-editing. And then after your self-editing, then it goes to your writing coach to do one final review. That's just to make sure there's nothing else. Okay, we don't need to do content or structure or flow, or maybe there's some, last minute things they want to add or change or whatever it may be. And then they sign off on it and say, your writing coach signs off on it and says, this is ready for editing. And then you follow the checklist, and then it goes to publishing at messengerbooks.com, and then immediately goes into the queue. So if there's, a couple, books in front of you, it might be 2 or 3, business days, and then it goes into that queue, and then it's crickets. Then it's crickets because they're editing your book. And then if there's anything that the publishing team needs, like we need your bio, we need extra endorsements, we need your book cover examples, we need your domain, any of those types of things that they're going to need, your back copy, et cetera, to do marketing, to finish the publishing of the book, your account manager will start to ask those questions.
Last question. Once it gets to the editor and it comes back, will we have a date of an estimation of when the book will be released for a book launch party, or when do you find that out, just for planning purposes?
Yeah, if you look at the schedule and the publishing timeline checklist, you actually won't, you'll have some ideas, you'll have a pretty good idea, but you're looking at, once it goes into editing, there's going to be a 6 to 8 week for editing. And then after editing, then it has to go to formatting. Once the book is done editing is the trigger. So if you look at that, the timeline checklist, editing, when it's been signed off, is the trigger for the marketing. Okay. Once you have your manuscript has been fully edited, then the marketing team is going to begin to curate content. They're going to start doing posts on your behalf, doing stories and posts, et cetera, et cetera. But meanwhile, it's going through the formatting process and then the book cover. You actually will not have a date until you have a for sure date. You'll have a rough estimate because we're not a traditional publisher. You'll have a rough estimate, but you're not going to have a for sure date until you have received your proof. So the process is editing, sign off on editing, marketing begins, formatting begins, and the book cover begins. Once you sign off on formatting and once you sign off on the book cover, then it actually goes to Amazon, and then you have to get a proof. You have to get a physical proof in your hand to look at it, make sure the colors are right, the print is right, read through it, because once you launch, it's really, really hard. You're like, oh no, there's an extra this, or, or something like that. And so you're in this process of signing off, but once you get your book proof, then you actually can decide if you want to do a 21 to 30 day. But for most of you that are spring students, you started in March, you should plan somewhere between 3 to 4 months from now. If you're at the end, if you're in the self-editing or in the editing, you're about 3 to 4 months, but it moves pretty quick. Once you sign off on your book cover, once you sign off on formatting, and then really you're just like, it goes pretty quick. You get the book cover, and then you will tell your account manager if you want to do a 21 or a 30 day. Again, this is in your schedule and publishing timeline checklist. You will decide if you want to do a 3-week countdown or a 30-day countdown. And all that it means is that the marketing team is literally they're doing a countdown on your social media, like 21 days, and they're posting content on your behalf. But I would say, Tiffany, let's say well, where do you think you're at in the self-edit? Like how close are you where you're ready to give your final draft to your coach?
I plan on turning everything in on July 18th.
Okay. And then who's your coach?
Teresa.
Oh yeah, I knew that already. Okay. Actually, I forgot already. So then you're probably, give 1 or 2 weeks for a final review, and then editing. You need to allow at least 6 to 8 weeks for editing. You need to allow 2 to 3 weeks for formatting. That's taking the book and making, typesetting it professionally for paperback, and then also for ebook. While that's happening, there's back and forth kind of going where we're sending you some examples for book covers, etc. And then once you sign off on that, you sign off on your formatting and book cover, then everything goes to Amazon. That usually takes 2 to 3 weeks because it doesn't take that long for them to get everything. It takes about a week or so for everything to go to them. And then it takes maybe 7 to 10 days for you to get a proof. And once you look at that, once you got your baby, you got your proof in your hand, and you don't want to launch it, right? You're not telling people, you're just letting people know, hey, I got my proof, blah, 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 creates the excitement. Then you start your 3 to 4 week countdown.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jeremiah. I'm going to go review that checklist.
Yeah, absolutely. And if any of you are like, I remember that checklist, but I didn't save it or whatever that we gave you, just send an email to your account manager. So it's just a PDF outline.
These questions just remind me of how, as writers, we don't, maybe we don't plan for all the little details and publishing a book.
The variables.
Yeah.
There's lots of variables.
And not just variables, but also just all the details, just you finish one big thing, and then there's the next, milestone in the process. And, it's very common, what we have seen is for people to kind of get a little bit fatigued in the process, so make sure
it's running a marathon.
Yeah. So, just stay encouraged, keep connecting, you'll birth the baby, and then, it has to be edited, and then it has to be formatted, all those little steps. And it takes time, and you don't want to rush the process. We've had authors that kind of get fatigued, and then they'll be like, push.
And we don't, nobody gets to rush us. Like we don't let, like, we're like, no, we're not going to do that. That's not how that works.
You just don't want to shortchange any part of the process,
It's not worth it.
no matter how done you feel.
Mhm.
You just want to, whenever you feel that feeling like done, then you just need to, pull back, rest in the Lord.
You need to
and
refuel.
refocus.
Yep.
And just say, okay, Lord, help me to finish well.
Because you have to do your part, which is to write the book. We're not writing the book for you. You have to write the book. And then once you're done writing, we have a part, and our part has a lot of details. Literally just so many details. And it's quite easy for those details to get, well, for you to get lost in the details because you're not seeing things just yet, but you've got all of these different things that have to happen, like ISBNs and barcodes and Library of Congress, and creating an Amazon account, and then getting Amazon to approve the book, and creating the categories, and uploading the manuscript and the book cover. And I think probably where I have seen the most where people get kind of discouraged is the editing process and the Amazon process, because they're both kind of a little bit out of your control. You're waiting. It feels a little bit quiet and you're just kind of waiting, but it's, I've never birthed a baby, but there is that. Yeah, thank goodness. There is a little bit of that process that's just really, really important to recognize and to realize that you are, you're not done. You're not done when you have written the book. You are done when you have launched the book, and then you have to get the message out there.
Yeah.
Right. So really do think of this like, book marathon's kind of cool, but really do think of it like raising kids. My oldest is 27. My youngest is about to be 17. I'm still raising all of them. I'm like, is there ever a point where no, there's not. You just keep raising them.
You have to embrace the messenger life. And that's really our core message is I'm not just writing a book and then going back to my cave. I'm actually saying, yes, Lord, I will birth this message that you've given me, and then I will carry this message to whomever you want me to carry it to and herald it. And, so that, that requires us to, be in it for the long haul with the Lord.
We're not just birthing kids, right? Or raising kids. We're stewarding our kids, right? I have a responsibility to the Lord to steward my kids. So you thought you were just going to do a course and write a book and get it out on Amazon. No, you're actually stewarding a message. It's more than stewarding a book. That's going to happen. If you follow this process, your book will be on Amazon. Your book will be out. You'll have a website. You'll have marketing. All this stuff's going on, blah, 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 blah. But you're stewarding a message. That message didn't originate with you. That message did not originate with you. That message was conceived in heaven. It's God's message. He gives it to you. Even when we're like, oh, I'm in a flow and I'm writing. That's coming from the Lord. This is total dependence on God, total surrender to God. It's your message. And we steward that message, and we carry that message, and we birth that message, and we raise that message. And why'd you get me going? Okay, let's go to Janelle. Moving along.
Hey
Hi,
there.
Janelle.
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I had a couple of questions regarding, so I'm doing a devotional. So I went through all the modules, and I accidentally sent something as an email before I finished one of the modules. So I just put everything in my folder, but I just wanted to clarify that I put it in the right folder. So the outline that I did, I shared, I didn't get the spreadsheet at all. I don't know if that was something that was separate. But I did what it was asking me to do, to do it for, the entire thing. And then also like the day template. So I hope that was okay. I put that in my outline folder.
Okay. Okay. So a couple quick things. So I want to make sure you get that spreadsheet. Janelle, who's your account manager?
Bianca.
Okay. Bianca is on the call. Bianca, if you could just send a direct message to Janelle, let her know that you're going to email her that spreadsheet. And not like it doesn't make or break, but we definitely want to make sure that you get that spreadsheet as part of this part of that course. So we'll make sure that you get that. And then you also, your question was you wanted to make sure that it was in your folder, that everything was inside your folder. Okay. So Bianca, it is. Okay. So Teresa is your coach. Bianca is your account manager, and everything is in your folder. So what this means is you did it correctly. Whoa. Yay.
Okay, good. And I know that there's one folder that says chapters, and for me, it'll be, days. So I've already put everything in there for the future. And then I have sections too. Do section, because I have 6 sections. So breaking them into chunks week by week. Then I would just put that in my chapter folder as well. Is that correct?
Yes.
And just label them section 1, section 2. Okay.
Yeah, there's a couple of different ways you can do it. Just whatever makes most sense to you. You can create a folder for section 1, and then inside that folder, you can put all the days that go in that section. Or you can just create a folder for like section 1, day 1, section 1, day 2, or however it makes sense for your book. So devotionals are a little bit different with that. So whatever makes sense to you, that will make it easy for you to navigate. We'll work with your system.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yeah. Congratulations. That's awesome. We like devotionals. Those are awesome. Those are fun. Coming to Diane, how art thou?
I'm well. Thank you both for everything. And Jeremiah, your t-shirt makes me wonder if Teresa should have a t-shirt beside you that says "but verify."
Yeah, come on. Okay, we could do that.
Prescott and chill. Prescott and chill is the whole message. But yeah trust and verify.
And verify, that's right. Okay, so you mentioned that course correction while writing happens, and it has in spades for me. I feel so much more confident this far out. I'm still have several more chapters to write. But over the weekend, I went back and I started from chapter 1, just reading, just to kind of refresh my memory about what I've written, to kind of keep the flow going from chapter 1 all through. And when I read chapter 1, I thought, I need to write this whole thing over again. But I guess, my question is that normal? And would I do that, or maybe not rewrite the whole thing, but definitely shore it up and make it look more like a chapter 7 in the self-editing process? Is that when I would do that?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes is the answer to all those.
Yes. And that's very common. And I was reviewing your chapter 5 just a little bit ago. And I was actually, while I was going through it, I was thinking, wow, Diane has really come into her writer, voice in this process. And I was thinking, not that chapter 1 wasn't good. I didn't think that at all, but I thought, wow, this is so strong. And I actually thought she'll want to go back, and not because it's bad, but I just had the same thought you did. Yeah. It's a little bit different, maybe you were just a little bit less confident in your message, but you're really shining now. So keep it going, girl.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, and just to answer that for Diane and for other people, remember there's a cultivating process in anything. And as you cultivating meaning you're turning soil. And sometimes you're turning soil in your life and you're doing something that God's called you to do that you haven't done before. And that means that the soil is not like easy to cultivate. So there's a little bit of a process, but the reason that they cultivate soil. If they're going to plant, they cultivate it to keep breaking it up and keep breaking it up and keep breaking it up. So don't be afraid of the cultivation process. It's not simple and easy right away, but as you stick to it and you keep doing it and you keep writing and you keep speaking, you keep praying, you keep seeking the Lord, you're cultivating those places. So keep cultivating.
Okay.
Darlene, you're on the air.
Thank you so much. Good to see everyone today.
Yeah.
Good to see you.
Thank you. Just a few questions for you now. Teresa, you said something about the coaching, I guess, was ending tomorrow, but then I thought something was ending the 18th. So is it Tuesday that the weekly reviews end? And then I think what you explained earlier was that we still would get reviewed by the writing coach. It would just be at the end when we submit the last part. Is that correct?
So the writing coaching, with the weekly critiques will end on the 13th, and the 18th was like
that's the submission
date for your manuscript.
Okay, somehow I missed the 13th. I'm sorry.
And that's okay. And that's in your schedule and publishing timeline checklist. But remember also, when we were going through that, this is a soft deadline. That doesn't mean that you still are not going to get a final review. It just means you're just in a different trajectory. That's okay. It's just because it's a spring class and then there's a summer class and a fall class, like college class. There has to be certain things and blocks and segments that happen in certain amounts of time. But the final day of the spring master class, that just means that the weekly critiques are not going on. But then when you submit, when you do finally submit your final draft, it's going to go through a review. And the only reason that we do the critiques versus doing it all at once is really to save a little bit of time and energy. But our suggested deadline, and again, these are soft deadlines, we want them submitted at this time so that you can move into the next phase of publishing, would be Tuesday, July 18th. And that actually is the final draft manuscript to go into editing. So but if you miss it, you just keep going forward.
Right. Okay, great. Jeremiah, I think at one point you said something about not deleting things, but in my table of contents section there in the folder, I have the first one I put in, and then I have the revision 1. And if I want to get rid of the first one, can I delete it, or is it better just to move somewhere? Or what do you...
Darlene's like, like eggshells here. She's like, is it okay? Okay, so just so that
this is all this Google Drive stuff and everything.
Oh.
New.
I know it's like scary. Yeah, don't push that button, right? So just thank you. That was funny. Just so I'm clear, this was your original table of contents. You're no longer going to use that. You're no longer going to work that. You're just asking if you can just delete that file.
Yes.
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 Yes, yes, you can. You can go ahead and delete that. And I appreciate you asking. So,
I was thinking you had said don't delete anything or something at one of the last.
I did. I did it very aggressively. So, and that's more for your protection. It's much better to in that context to second guess, and because we've had entire folders be deleted and different things like that. So anyway, but yes, go ahead, Darlene. Thank you for the laugh. That was great.
Oh, good. 2 more quick questions.
Sure.
Times New Roman is just not my favorite, but I guess it's what we have to use. Right now, everything I've done is in Calibri because it's a nice clean font, but at what point do I need to switch it over? Just once I put it in the folder, I just go ahead and change it all over to Times New Roman? And is there ever any flexibility on that, or that's just the way that it is?
It's okay for you to submit Calibri. Is that what you used? You said? Yeah, that's fine.
I can? Oh, I thought that was a requirement that it all had to be in Times New Roman. That's what I've been hearing anyway.
Well, that's our basic guideline. But if your entire manuscript is in Calibri and it's all nicely done, that's fine.
Oh,
What we have had in the past is
There's a reason for this.
yeah, we've had people have different kinds of fonts, different colors of fonts, all different sizes of fonts. And so, we just say, in general, Times New Roman, size 12 font, double spaced, no indentions, just to keep it very simple. So that's fine.
And that's there because publishers, even outside of what we do, publishers have guidelines, and they're very, very strict guidelines. And if you submit a manuscript that's outside of those guidelines, they won't even look at it, and they won't let you know that they didn't look at it. They just won't even look at it. So the guidelines are there to keep the process systematic, and because we don't want people using all different kinds of things. And then this is going to get formatted, eventually anyway. But you're getting permission from the boss at this point. So
that's great. The last question I have for you is, I've never used an e-reader or a Kindle or anything like that, but if the book is going to be published in that format, I would like to be able to view it and all. Should I do that? Should I go ahead and and how do you go through Amazon and just buy an ebook and then it automatically comes on an e-reader or maybe?
Yeah. I can walk you through this. So Darlene, are you a Apple iPhone user or are you an Android user?
I have an Apple iPhone.
Okay. So the glory of the Lord is on your life. Okay.
So and then, I use Microsoft. I have my laptop is Microsoft, but my iPhone is my Apple. My phone is an Apple iPhone. So.
Right. I got you. I'm tracking with you.
Okay.
So on any device, so if you have an iPad or a tablet or a desktop or a laptop or an iPhone or an Android or whatever, all you need to do is download the Kindle app. So go to your app store. You can go to App Store on desktop. You can go to App Store on a tablet. You can go to an App Store on your phone and download the Kindle app. And it's really quick. It's really fast. It's free. Then when your book is formatted, it's going to be formatted for print, obviously, but then it's formatted for Kindle. Let me just take a second, guys, and show you something here really quickly. I think this will help just a smidgen. And for those of you like, what is smidgen? All right, let me just share my screen. Okay, I'm gonna share my screen. Okay, so here's an example of sales page. So this is Teresa's sales page for her book, Unveiled by God. When they go to purchase this book, it will take them to your landing page, which will be on Amazon. All of you will have this. All of you will have a sales page similar to this. And then when they click it, that'll give them the option to buy Kindle or paperback, either one immediately. So you don't have to have, a sales page for ebook and Kindle and another sales page for paperback. So then people can purchase this Kindle, and then it will automatically, because they'll have to have an account, it will automatically just go to their Kindle application. So Darlene, do you have an Amazon account, Darlene?
I don't think so. I mean,
Okay.
I buy every now and then from them. Is that what you mean? Or like,
Yeah, you probably have one, but just go get the Kindle app, and then you can go and you can play around with this if you want to. Go ahead and get the Kindle app, and then you can go buy a Kindle book, and it'll come onto your device. And you can do that on desktop, you can do that on laptop, you can do it on tablet, and you can do it on phone. And yours will look like that. It'll be beautiful and gorgeous.
well, I'll buy Teresa's book there. That'll be the first one.
That was the whole goal. That's why I said it like that. So I don't know if you guys can see this, but so that's the Kindle. You guys can see that sort of. I'm sorry, that's terrible. The light. Okay, that's the Kindle app. And then it will show you inside Kindle, and then you'll just hold on, make me sign in and all that kind of stuff. Then you'll sign into it, your Amazon account. Bam. And it's taking forever. And then it'll show you your library. So you can see Teresa's book. Of course, everybody say, what a good husband. Okay. And then and then the book, and that will be yours. and then boom, it's right there.
Is that what
And it
it's?
will-
I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Right
Say what?
under that little where you're the little it says Kindle $9.99, and then right under there it says read with our free app.
Yes, the Kindle app is free.
So would I click on that, or would I just go to the I guess if I'm ordering it on my laptop, I would just click on that and then it would help me to download the Kindle app. Sorry for all these
It-
real basic questions.
That's
for
okay. It will ask you, and you can do it the Jeremiah way, which go get the app and then go get the book. But you could also do that as well. It would require you to download the app because you can't read. It's in that format, so you won't be able to read it outside of having that app.
Do I just
The
do it?
Kindle app.
Last question, I promise. Do I do it separately on the iPhone, get the app from the App Store, and then do this on my laptop where it says free app there?
So you could do it a couple of ways. You can take your phone and go to the App Store, get the Kindle app,
Yeah.
or get your iPhone, and you could go to Teresa's website, messengerbooks.com/Teresa.
I think she's asking if she needs to have it on her computer.
No.
Well, regardless, it's going to
Oh, okay.
it's going to make you download that app.
The question that I had was, do I do it separately for my laptop because it's not an Apple laptop, and separately on my iPhone? So I can go on the iPhone, go to the App Store, pull it up on the iPhone, and then go to this thing like you showed me how to do it here, and then just pull it up from Amazon where it says get the app, and then I
So-
can get it on my laptop as well.
Any device that you want to read it on, you have to get an app for that device. So
Okay.
there's an app for iPhone. There would be an app for Android. If you're an Apple user for a desktop, you would have to get the app for Apple. So you have to get an app for any device. It's not interchangeable or backward compatible. If I get the app just on my iPhone, I won't be able to read it on my tablet or my desktop because it will show a very odd language. So you actually, wherever you're going to read it, so you just decide if you're going to read it on your desktop. I have all of them. Like I have it on my desktop, I have it on the laptop, blah, blah. So it's really up to you, but wherever you plan on reading it is where you get the app. So if it's a desktop, laptop, tablet, phone, you get the app for that. Then you can buy the book, and you can buy those books from the app. You don't have to go to the Amazon store or anything like that.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome. Was that helpful?
Absolutely.
And Darlene, since you asked so many technical questions, actually the next barbecue retreat is at your place. Okay, so just so you
Florida, everyone.
Anything else, Darlene? Any other questions any difficult technical questions for Teresa?
No, I think that's it for now.
Okay. You gave me a little bit of a giggle. I appreciate it. That was kind of fun. All right. Questions? Writing questions? Okay, let's go to Malika. I was going to ask how many, and actually I'll just do this while we're going to Malika, but here in a little bit, spring masterclass students, how many of you are doing your final edit? You're doing your final edit? How many? Self-edit, sorry. Self-edit. Okay, who's going to be doing self-edit in a week or two?
We don't have a lot of spring.
Like it.
students.
Yay, Glenda, right on. All right, Malika, you're on the air.
Yes, hi.
Hey.
I have a question about endorsements. When would be the right time to send them the email to ask, and what would be the date that I can send them my manuscript?
Yeah.
Because
Good
I want
question.
to inform them when I will be sending it to them.
Yeah. So it's a good idea to formulate a list of those that you plan. Like it kind of depends on, your personality, but this is what we would recommend. Formulate a list of who you want to do your endorsements, and you can keep that in your folder or however you want to keep that organized. Let them know ahead of time. right? So for example, let's say you finish your book in the next 3 to 4 months and you're ready to actually send them a manuscript so that they can read it, because they can't endorse it until they read it. You don't want to ask people to do the endorsements then. It's not that they wouldn't, but you kind of want to give them a little bit of lead time. So what you can do is number one, you formulate your list. Okay, you got your 5 people, your 10 people, your 2 people, your 1 people, doesn't matter. 20 can be whatever. You go ahead and email and say, hey, I'm going to be finished with my book in the next 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, something around there. I'm wondering, my manuscript, wondering if you would be willing to endorse it. And then you need to tell them just a little bit, right? You don't tell them everything. Just give them a brief summary, maybe working title, working subtitle, and then ask them if they would be willing to do that. And then at that point, you just kind of keep them up to date. So, because you've got the variables and this, that, and the other. And then as you're getting like maybe 4 to 6 weeks out, you're getting really close, go ahead and email them again and just let them know, hey, I'm about 4 to 6 weeks out. I'll be sending the manuscript. And then once you have your edited manuscript, you can send your edited manuscript to them, because you don't want to send a manuscript to them that hasn't been edited, because then you get people like Teresa that will correct all of the grammar and the punctuation and the spelling. She would, but anyway, and she would fully edit it while she's endorsing the book as well. So then you go ahead and send it to them. And remember, if you send your manuscript to somebody to get an endorsement, you need to ask them or give them some kind of a timeline. Otherwise, here's what happens. You give them the manuscript for an endorsement, and then 3 years later, they say, here you go. And, you kind of have a timeline. So give them some kind of a timeline, or, say, hey, when would you be able to get this back to me? In a week or 2 or 3, however you want to do that. And just remember that holds up any of the publishing process. But ask for some kind of a hard date, specific timeline, so that you have an idea of when you're going to get those endorsements back. Does that help?
Yeah, very helpful.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah. Good. All right, going to Marie. How are you, Marie?
No, I'm okay. Germans are
Good to see you.
always okay, not wonderful, but doesn't matter. So now there are some German questions. So because I'm not that well in English, I write my book in German. I don't know if I told you. So I have an author program, and that helps me to write. So now it can happen, and I did already, put some German things in folders. Teresa, did you see that?
I haven't seen any German writing in folders.
Okay,
Is that
it
what you're
doesn't
saying?
matter because it is German language. Can I do that, or is it confusing?
It's your author folder, so if it helps you to put it in there to keep it organized, then that's totally fine. I mean, obviously, we wouldn't be able to help with anything that's in German. I wish I knew German, but anyway, yeah, you can feel free to do that.
Good, wonderful, because it helps me a lot.
Yeah.
Sure.
And so even the words, you see, when I write German, they do more words, I think, than the English version. So even the words will not be exactly like it should be.
It will
Doesn't
be
matter,
similar.
I hope. Then another question, because after I did it German version, I put it through DeepL. That is DeepL? Good.
So it will translate it for you.
Translation version. Then I go through it. But if there are some wrong words or something, does it matter for you? Because I'm not perfect in writing English. I'm sorry.
Well, that's why you have a writing coach and you also have an editor. Just a quick question, they'll let Teresa dive into this a little more. Marie, do you plan on, so you're going to write it and publish it in English. Are you also later going to publish it in German as well?
Yes, but you said you don't do that.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that is then my own thing, or I have to think, or can I take the German version to Amazon myself? No.
You could certainly self-publish it. You could certainly self-publish it in German. Yeah. But the version that we edit is going to go through all of the professional editing. So you'll just have to think about this when you get to that point, because you will own that manuscript. You'll own that manuscript that will have been edited. So you can then take that edited version and then maybe translate that back to German, and then it will probably still need a copy edit because there'll be some things that won't, be exactly the way that you want to communicate them, but at least it will have an edited version, and then you could self-publish that if you want. We actually, Marie, let me put a little bit of thought in that because I don't want to put the cart before the horse. We just need to discuss what that would look like, but if you were able to do the copy edit of it, you could probably still publish it on the same account, which probably makes sense to me. But we won't get too lost in the weeds about that. But anyway, yes, you could publish it in German for sure. You might be able to publish it with the same account. There'll just be a few processes there, but you also could self-publish it in German. You could do that.
Yeah, it would be wonderful because it is one work, so 2 books with one work.
Yeah. What were you going to say?
And so as far
about the mistakes of words and so on, what do you think about that?
Okay. Can you read and write in English?
Yeah, I can read and write in English.
Okay.
But not very well. So.
Okay, so your outline was well done. Did you?
So
did you
didn't
that?
think it is not understandable, or it is a poor English language?
I'm sorry, I didn't catch
So
that.
you read the annotated outline.
Mm-hmm.
Did you think, oh, that is a very poor English?
No, I didn't. I thought it was
That
good.
was my question. Okay.
Yes. So what I would recommend then is, you put it through whatever software that you're using to translate it into English. I'm assuming that's what you are saying. And then you're going to need to read through it.
Yeah, of course.
And then make sure that, it's good sentence structure, good, grammar, the best that you can do before it would come to us for us to review and eventually edit.
That I planned already. Yes.
Okay, super. Sounds like we're on the same track.
Yeah, it is a lot of work.
It is a lot of work. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
We have had one other author who was who was German actually as well. And she wrote her entire book with Google Translate.
Mm-hmm.
Very difficult.
90,000 words.
Yeah. And somewhere around there. It was a big book. And then it had to almost have ghostwriting, on top of that, because she wasn't able to do the self-edit really on her own. So that would be a different process than what we're doing right here. That would require, special case, we'd have to talk about that. But it sounds like you're able to, edit.
But I can mark what I am not, when I'm not sure it is the right word or something.
Yes.
Good. Okay. That's it. Thank you very much. You are wonderful people.
Oh,
you are blessed.
Thank you. Oh, thank you. So are you.
Thank you, Marie. That's precious. That's you inspire me. I mean, definitely, for sure. Exciting. Okay, Lori. Hey there, young lady. Hey, I don't want to say stranger, just haven't seen you for a couple of weeks. You're in your final edit. How are you, young lady?
Yes, hi. I'm just not on camera because like I just got out of shower. I'm dripping wet and yeah.
Oh, well, thanks for sharing. That's great. Great. Thank you, Lori. Let's keep that camera off if you would. Thanks.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't want to scare anybody. Okay, so I'm sorry I haven't even been here because like I don't know where my brain went, but I didn't know we had more classes and I've just been editing. I think I'm on like my fifth edit. And just gotten down to under 45,000. Woo! Yeah. so
Happy
yeah,
dance.
it's miracle. Yeah.
In the towel.
But I was wondering, okay, so I'm trying not to freak out because like I've had some meltdowns and just like this is really like the enemy is ruthless.
Sure.
And I mean, there was a day where I was literally like, I'm just gonna take my computer, I'm gonna smash it. Like, yeah. Anyway, so what is the what is it?
Account manager?
Yeah, like Joy is awesome. I love her. She, reached out to me and stuff, and I didn't even ask her, and I probably can, but like I'm confused because there's so many of you that write and I'm like, okay, David's for this and Elrisa and then Joy and and then Teresa, because she told me to ask Teresa for some like the bio thing. What exactly, sorry, I'm all over the place. What exactly is due on Tuesday? Because all I've been focusing on is the chapters. Is that right?
So let me ask all four of your questions. Answer all four of your questions.
Okay.
Just kidding. Let me answer your account manager question. So we did not give you an accountant. You're on your own.
Okay.
Yeah. Just this week we assigned account managers. So an account manager. We have, several people that are kind of working behind the scenes here, there, and the other. The account manager functions as your member concierge. So that means you have their text, you can text them, you have their email, and you have their WhatsApp. We put that up because we're seeing about 30 new students every single quarter. So you have an account manager. They are there really just to be your support person. They're not your writing coach. They're not your editor. They're not your book cover designer. Somebody else is doing the website. Somebody else is doing all of those things, but they're there to be your primary point of contact and through the support process. So whenever you're like, I need the Zoom link, or I need help with the folder, or, what is my deadline for this, that, and the other, you can communicate to your account manager. But your writing coach, your editor, all of that stays the same. So there's that. And then the other question was, what exactly is due on Tuesday the 18th? Was that the last question?
Yes.
So, and again, this is a soft deadline. So this is not like end of the road. Like if you miss this deadline, you just keep moving forward. But the idea with the Tuesday, July 18th was for you to submit your final draft manuscript so that it could be reviewed and then go to editing. But that means your final draft manuscript is that you've done your self-editing.
Yeah.
So that's what would be due on Tuesday, where you're done with it. And then you're submitting it to your coach. In this context would be David, to do a final review. If there's anything else, any other suggestions that he wants to make, then if he signs off on it and you sign off on it, then it goes to editing. And congratulations.
Okay. And then
So
what
you're
about
close.
the bios? I was looking on the workbook for like instructions, or like you said, there's two bios, one's short, one's longer. Where could I find out like a guide or something?
So, Joy is your account manager. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, so you can email Joy back and ask her for those specific things, and she will get you the links, the documents, the videos, or anything that you
Awesome.
need.
Thank
Yeah.
you so much. Thank you. And I will get it turned in by the 18th, my chapter.
Come on.
Good job.
Good job,
Yes, in
Lori.
Jesus'
Congratulations. Yes, in Jesus' name. And
I'm,
just so you guys
I'm
know,
decreeing and declaring.
come on. Yeah. Lori, it's amazing. Really, we're super proud of you. Good job. Well done.
Thank you. Thank you for everything.
Of course.
So awesome.
And we forgive you that we can't see you today, but that's okay. Margaret, how are you, Margaret? Go ahead.
Hi.
Hi.
I heard you say no double space and no indentations. So are we not indenting the paragraphs then, or?
So that's my favorite, no indentions and just having a space between paragraphs. So if you really love indentions, I'm not going to stand in your way. Okay. We have a few authors that do that. We have a few authors that like that, to have the indention. This won't be how your final book looks. Your final book, the formatter is going to decide all of that. But this is just for the editing process. But anyway, what we don't want is for you to hit a tab button to do indentions. We want it to be set in your format. And what we don't want is for you to hit the return twice for a new paragraph. We want you to set that in your formatting as well.
Because that also affects the formatting, and a lot of fixes have to be done at the end.
Yeah, somebody will have to go through your manuscript and
remove every single one.
All of that. So you just need to have that from the very beginning. So if you want to do indentions, then set that in your formatting, whatever you want that to be, and do indentions and no space between paragraphs. And then if you're going to do the space between paragraphs, then set that in your formatting as well, so that you don't have an extra line in between paragraphs. So if this sounds, go ahead.
So, and you said don't hit the return twice?
Yeah, you don't want to hit the return twice. You don't want to hit the tab button. It all needs to be set in your formatting.
Well, I know where the line spacing for paragraphs is at, so.
Yes, that's the easiest. And it's really easy to see. It's really easy to do your scripture verse formatting for block quotes and things like that in your manuscripts. So that's why I like it.
Then what about, is there a preferred format for listing sources, citations? I think it's called format style, like APA or MLA or.
Yes, that's a great question. We do Chicago Manual of Style, and you can footnote your sources. So footnote your citations. So while you're in the writing process, maybe you don't have the full citation, but you can just footnote, the name of the book or the name of the movie or the name of the article or whatever it is. And then when you're in your self-editing phase, you can go back at that point and put in the full citation according to Chicago Manual of Style. You will be responsible for your footnotes. You will be responsible to make sure that they are
not your editor,
that they're complete and that they're in the correct style. So I use citationmachine.net.
Which is in the workbook.
And that's in the workbook. And you can put in the pertinent information, and it will automatically generate the citation for you. You can copy and paste the footnote and put it right into your Google Doc, and it will stay in your Google Doc all the way through editing and into the formatting.
And then there's no endnotes, it's all footnotes at the bottom of the page.
Well,
for
now it will be a footnote, but in your book, eventually it will be endnotes. Okay. And you can,
okay, right.
you can choose to have the endnotes at the end of your book, or you can choose to have your endnotes at the end of each chapter. Our formatter generally will make that call unless you have a preference about that, and then you can let us know. Otherwise, it will be either at the back of your book or after each chapter.
And then each chapter would be a separate document, or it would just be the next page in your Word document, or
At this point, you're doing one chapter at a time in its own document. And if you in its own folder, inside of your author folder. I don't know if you had a chance to watch the tutorial video that we did. Was it last week we did that? I don't know if you got to watch that, but we went through step by step of how to do that inside your author folder. Great question. Yes, the best way to do it is to do one chapter at a time, make each chapter a masterpiece. Stay focused on that chapter.
I hope you stay organized.
And have one document for each chapter. And then when you're all done with all the elements of your book, then you will compile them at the end. And we'll also, guide you through that. So.
And if Margaret, if you're wondering where that video or that tutorial is or anything, you can also just send an email to your account manager and they'll send you the link and all of that stuff. Because we save everything around here.
Good. All right. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Margaret. Great questions. Really good questions. They're all good questions. Okay. Anybody else? Any other questions?
Bueller?
Hey, you did it. I'm usually the one. Hey, before we let you guys go, I just, I kind of just want to, celebrate my team. I want to celebrate my admin team. We could not do what we're doing without them. You could not do what you're doing. We really need them. And we're so grateful to Joy, Elriza, and Bianca. They are diligent. They're hardworking. They have families and kids and all this stuff. But anyway, I just want to in front of everybody, just say they're amazing. And we really appreciate them. They do a lot. And in our particular industry of what we do, there's 1,001 steps, and it really does feel like we're raising 100 kids all at once sometimes. But not that you're kids, that's not what I meant anyway. But it just feels like we're just raising so many kids. It feels like there's just so many Legos that we're trying to put together. So we love you guys, appreciate you, thank you so much. And if anybody's coming to VIP, we'll see you at VIP tomorrow. And don't forget, you have your account manager. They're your member concierge. You can even tell people, I have a member concierge. You can say it in French if you want to feel bougie and fancy. And then if you don't know who your writing coach is, summer masterclass students, if you're in spring, of course you do. But if you're a summer masterclass student and you don't know who your writing coach is, you will by the end of the business day, because it's already been settled. It's just a matter of us getting through the queue and getting emails out to you guys. Anything else you can think of? Well, Lord, we bless all of these authors, and we prophetically just decree and declare and speak over them that the message you have put on the inside of them will be penned to paper, and from paper to eyes and hands. Lord, that you would begin to anoint the pathways for them, begin to open doors, begin to show them their metron, show them the people you've called them to, and begin to release this message into the hearers, the people that you have already set up and designed and are ripe for the harvest for their particular message, for their particular book. Give them a creative anointing on knowing when and how to begin to distribute this message. And Lord, we bless them. We speak good, sweet rest and sleep over them. We ask you to give them supernatural resources, supernatural provision, supernatural energy through the process to run the race that you've given them to run. And we love you, Jesus. And we are all totally, completely surrendered in Jesus' name. All right. God bless you guys. Take care. Bye for now.